A 4.8 magnitude earthquake struck the New York City area Friday morning, shaking buildings up and down the East Coast and surprising many residents who rarely experience such events.
I was scared. I've never felt one before.
It felt really strange because it was my first time experiencing that.
The quake's epicenter was in Tewksbury in central New Jersey, about 40 miles west of New York City according to the U.S. Geological Survey. It occurred just after 10:20 a.m. Eastern Time. Tremors were felt in the heart of Manhattan and beyond, with people from Baltimore to Boston reporting rumblings. Surveillance video captured the moment it shook this Boonton, New Jersey coffee shop.
This is one of the largest earthquakes on the East Coast to occur in the last century.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul said that engineering teams were inspecting infrastructure and that no life-threatening situations had been identified. A few aftershocks followed later in the day, explained David Wunsch, state geologist and director at the Delaware Geological Survey.
It looks to be at least 2 or 3 aftershocks that have been recorded since the major event earlier today, but they're all more like in the magnitude 2 range, so significantly smaller, and that's very typical of earthquake behavior, that you have a gradually tailing off of the magnitude of the aftershock energy with time.
Friday's tremor was the largest felt in the city since the 2011 5.8 magnitude earthquake in Virginia that prompted evacuations of New York City Hall and other buildings and caused damage in Washington, D.C. According to the USGS, earthquakes in the eastern U.S. are felt across a far broader area than western quakes because the bedrock is much older and harder, transferring seismic energy more easily.
I felt actually the earthquake and I felt my head and my stomach was shaking. Afterwards I thought that it was earthquake, and also last year we actually I don't know, maybe you know, we had a big earthquake in Turkey at southeastern part, and I am from southeastern part, so I felt bad actually. So I can feel better maybe when we compare the other students. I wanted to sit and have a break, and so now I'm here.
We were in our hotel room and we felt this rumbling on the floor, and it felt like there was a subway going under us, but it was longer than when a train would go under, and I thought, is that an earthquake or not? And then we left and we came down to Bryant Park, and then we got the emergency alert. So our question is, why was it an hour later?
And you weren't like scared at all?
No. I grew up in California.
I was scared. I've never felt one before because I grew up in New York and we don't really have them often. So I thought it was a train personally, and then it just kept going. So it was probably 10, 15 seconds.
It felt really strange because it was my first time experiencing that. I was actually at the office and I just left early, so that was pretty crazy, to be honest. I was really scared, and that's why I'm going home right now. And yeah, just hope everybody's safe. Yeah, that's
So we were on the subway and we got a notification of the earthquake. We didn't feel it on the subway, but then my wife was calling me because she's in the hotel in Midtown. So obviously 43 levels up in the air, I guess you feel it a bit more. So she felt it, and you know, it's always a bit worrying when one half of your family is in one area and the other one in the other, and an earthquake happens. So, but we're all safe now, which is good.
Even though they didn't go in. I ain't scared of anything. Never scared. If it gets you down, you gotta get back up. Never give up.
At approximately 10:23 this morning, we can confirm the USGS report that a magnitude 4.8 earthquake occurred in the Tewksbury Township section of Hunterdon County. Tewksbury officials are reporting that 2 aftershocks occurred thereafter, with the most recent at 11:50. We have no reports of injuries at this time. We have no reports of anyone who was evacuated or displaced as a result of the earthquake. We've received no resource request from our municipalities for assistance. Damage assessment is underway throughout our county, and we are beginning to receive reports of structural issues at private property. We have placed a link on the county website to capture reports from the public of damage that has occurred throughout the jurisdiction. Hunterdon Medical Center, our jurisdiction's only hospital, has reported there is no damage to their facility or infrastructure as well. The Delaware River Joint Toll Bridge Commission has inspected bridges connecting New Jersey to Pennsylvania from Hunterdon County with no damage identified. We are coordinating with all utilities that service our county, power, gas, and others, and all are reporting no issues presently.
Good morning. Approximately 1 hour ago, millions of New Yorkers felt the effects of a 4.8% or 4.8 magnitude earthquake, the epicenter of which was in central New Jersey. That is about 45 miles west of Manhattan. We actually felt it here in the capital in Albany. People felt it on Long Island and all over the state of New York and indeed the East Coast. We're taking this extremely seriously, and here's why. There is always the possibility of aftershocks, and I'll get to that in a moment, but we have not felt the magnitude of an earthquake of this level since about 2011. Actually, I was in Washington. This is one of the largest earthquakes on the East Coast occur in the last century. So I immediately directed my emergency management team, the second we received word of this, to start doing damage assessments, any life in danger, and finding out whether there's any bridges or tunnels that are compromised. And so, and I want to announce that right now, JFK and Newark airports are on full ground stops to assess any potential for after effects. And we've been in contact with the utility companies to make sure that the gas and electric services continue. I will report that Amtrak and MTA are on full schedule, no disruption there at this time. Right now, it's most important that we have our structural teams out there, our engineering teams, surveying our bridges, our roads, any area there could be a fault line that is not easily detectable, to make sure that passengers on our rails as well as our commuters are safe. At this point, heading into an hour and a half after the effects, we've not identified any life-threatening situations, but we are certainly asking our local law enforcement and emergency services teams to be on guard for that as well. But again, we are going to be reviewing all potentially vulnerable infrastructure state